Sometimes I even don't understand Disney's marketing, and this is 100% Disney's marketing, as I've seen site after site just talking about this is the first character ever to be sexually assaulted in Star Wars. Like it's somehow a good thing. It's really, really weird, but I think Disney is just dying to get people to try to talk about Andor somehow because it did not do well in the first season. The ratings were very, very low. Clearly, the second season is not going to have better ratings. It's going to be worse than the first because of that, because you have to watch the first to get to the second. And so they have to get people talking about it somehow. The show's really not been that controversial. The first season was on the slow side. It was pretty well written. I liked it. And then the second season is out now with 3 new episodes this week, and there's not a lot of discussion about it. I think a lot of people have just tuned out of Star Wars. There's just been too many missteps, too many problems. And frankly, with the Disney Plus shows, it really is just like they're so all over the map. You got the Andor character before, episode whatever, Rogue's, what was it? What was the name of the movie? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking right before this. Rogue One. Jeez. This happens when you record. I'll edit this out, guys, so don't worry about that. But then you got Obi-Wan, which kind of takes place kind of like before that or after that. I'm a little confused to when that is. You got The Mandalorian, which it's really confusing. It's sometime after Return of the Jedi, but not really. You got The Acolyte, which is hundreds of years ago. And so they don't really like flow together. You're just like, how does this all piece together? And where do I even start watching? And when you have that kind of thing, you're just going to get audiences to tune out naturally. You add in Kathleen Kennedy's forces female nonsense onto a lot of this stuff, and it becomes just a big mess. And that's exactly what they've had for Disney Plus. I think that the Marvel MCU is suffering from very much the same, even though they don't have a lot of those time situations going on. You kind of have your which show do I watch to watch the next one issues, which is a lot of pain to keep up with. And so people don't. That's the big mistake they've made with all these shows rather than making them kind of standalone things. If you remember the Netflix Daredevil and the like, even though they were kind of tying together, they were all just their own shows, and so it made it easy to watch. And that's something that, unfortunately, Disney doesn't seem to understand how to do anymore. So they're trying to just get weird marketing going on, and let's get into this in just a moment. Hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here as we talk about all things Star Wars and science fiction. I'm a science fiction writer myself, so I talk about this a lot from a writing perspective. And this is my Justified Saga of the Nano Templar. Very great book. And if you didn't like the main trilogy of the Disney stuff, this is really the answer for you. I really think you'll enjoy it. It's space crusading. It's a ton of action. It's good stuff. You're going to love the whole trilogy. So pick it up today. It's in the description below. And like I said, you can get all of it. It's available on ebook, print, and audio. And you can support our channel for not very much. It's pretty good. It's only $4.99 for the ebook. And thank you guys for reading our content and making us a perennial bestseller. It's been good stuff. So Andor creator Tony Gilroy defended the sexual assault scene in the beginning of the show's second season, which began streaming on Disney Plus just yesterday, claiming everyone alive today is, quote, a product of rape. What? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Why would you go in an interview and say something like this? It's so weird, but you know what? I feel like, again, they just try to get something controversial out there, and whether it's going to torpedo their show there or not, they don't care. As long as people are talking about it, that seems to be the strategy that they're going with today. This is such a weird statement, but then you look it up and you kind of think about it and you go, wait a minute, all these people worked with Harvey Weinstein, didn't they? So that maybe is what they, you write what you know, right? Am I right? And that seems to be what's happening here. The scene in question takes place in the latter half of the second season's third episode, showing an Imperial officer, Lieutenant Kroll, attempting to abuse his position of power during an inspection of grain production. While the officer and his soldiers are inspecting the grain silos, he makes his advances on Bix, a mechanic repairing the agricultural equipment after having fled the planet Ferrix. She and her 2 compatriots are illegal workers brought in to help and maintain the production levels for the Empire. Oh, geez, this isn't political. During the first encounter with her, the first Imperial officer is interrupted by Kayleen's partner, Brazo. However, he returns a second time. He's discovered Kayleen and her compatriots are illegal. He attempts to use this as leverage against her and begins attempting to seduce her. However, she rejects him, and a struggle ensues where Kroll, attempting to force himself on her. Kayleen eventually kills him, striking him in the face with one of her tools. The subtext here is pretty obvious as what's going on. These nice workers who were escaping the bad bad environment and just want to work real hard. Those illegal aliens are there, and they're there, and these ICE agents that are working for Trump are terrible people. I mean, it's very clear what they're trying to do with the subtext of this here, because they only have one modus operandi when it comes to Disney writing. We know exactly what they do every single time. They're obsessed with Trump, and they have to make everything about this all the time. It's really painful on this level. So Gilroy defended the inclusion of the scene because a lot of people have been talking about it, saying this is a bit much for a Star Wars show. Like, Star Wars is like a kids program, and you really shouldn't have this kind of assault in it because it's a little too adult for what's going on this kind of level. And, of course, there's been a lot of back and forth on the internet about that today of where that scene should go. He says, I got one shot to tell everything I know or can discover that what I've learned about revolution, about battles, with as many incidents and as many colors as I can get in there without having the story tip over. He says, I mean, let's be honest, man. The history of civilization, there's a huge arterial component of it, and that's rape. What? A lot of us are here. We're all products of rape, he elaborated. This is the mind of the SJW, everybody. This is the mind of somebody who works at Disney. I mean, if you think about it, this is exactly the people they're hiring. And this is exactly why they get the product that they get every single time. I mean, this is it. This is a wrap at this point. I don't really need to commentate anymore because this guy said it all. I mean, this is who it is. This is who's writing the show. This is absolutely crazy. He says, I mean, armies and power throughout history have committed rape. And so not to touch on it in some way, it just felt it was organic. It felt right coming about as a power trip from the guy. I'm really trying to make a path for Bix that would ultimately lead to clarity, but difficult path to get to clarity. When asked if he received any pushback from Lucasfilm, he said no one ever said anything about it, ever. Wow, that's kind of weird. He says there's limits of what we can do. We're very aware of what we can do sexually and violence-wise. Those limits are made very clear. Interesting on that level. Now, apparently, I was told that there was, at the end of Andor Season 1, they wanted to drop an F-bomb, and they were told by Lucasfilm they were not allowed to go that far, at the very least. Thank God. I mean, it doesn't make sense in a galaxy far, far away that they'd be using that kind of language anyway, but hey, they've done it in Star Trek now because, they had to be edgy with Discovery, so they want to put it into everything, right? They just want to make everything debased and degenerate all the way around. Now, they've had this kind of portrayal of in Star Wars, and we know there's the Twi'lek slaves and Princess Leia with Jabba the Hutt that was in the part of Return of the Jedi. So this is not something that's unusual for the Star Wars universe. So it's kind of weird, creepy fetish stuff that George Lucas put in there. But hey, is what it is. But this is kind of very, very weird on this level that this is going. So if you look at the way that this is doing, this is a clear narrative. So you go and look it up. And you look up what's going on with all of these news articles. These all popped up at about the same time. Andor star Adria Arjona reacts to filming the first sexual assault in Star Wars. Andor sparks backlash with first sexual... Like, they say it like it's a good thing, right? It's the first. It's a very first. That's great. That's fantastic. Andor the violent Star Wars sexual assault scene infuriating fans. Adria Arjona grappling with the most intense storylines in Star Wars. Andor creator explains why he put this into the Star Wars show. So as you can see, these all got out within hours of each other, right? And so the media is clearly attempting to make this a part of things, to make it part of Disney's marketing narrative, which is why everybody's talking about it at this juncture. It's just very weird because, again, if you're marketing with this kind of thing, you should probably say things a little better than the way you said it because it's just creepy. Comes across as like, again, a Harvey Weinstein type of situation where maybe you're just an acolyte of that kind of thing in Hollywood and that's why you kind of think this way. That's kind of how I think. I think all of these people are degenerate and that's why this sort of stuff comes up all the time in these sorts of shows and why it gets so weird all the time and why they talk so weird all the time. I mean, there's no other real explanation for it at this point. And yikes, this is not a good way to start off with Andor for the first 3 episodes out this week after not much marketing out there and not much buzz about this to begin with. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Please hit the like and subscribe button. If you want an alternative to Star Wars, that's a lot of fun. This is great stuff. High action and adventure. Justified Saga of the Nano Templar. You're going to love it, my friends. Grab it in the description below and support our channel. We'll be back soon.